Thank you for attending our first Care4Kids event, a Save for Later initiative. We're glad to see so many attendees in the room today. My name is Sonia Selmeyer, and I'm the Consumer Advocacy Officer at the Iowa Insurance Division. We created the Care4Kids series for you, the directors of child care organizations and in-home providers. We know the child care industry is facing many challenges, but having access to support resources shouldn't be one of them. One goal for today's event is to discuss some industry barriers and provide the resources to help you overcome them. Again, we appreciate your time on this Saturday morning, and now we have a message from Governor Kim Reynolds.
Thank you for attending today's Care4Kids panel. You play an important role in the lives of children and parents across our state. And that's why our team is hosting this event, to showcase the important resources and tools that are available for child care providers. Iowa families deserve a strong, reliable child care system. Over the last few years, my administration has prioritized expanding child care access, supporting providers, and partnering with employers so that parents have the options that they need to care for their children. We created the Child Care Task Force in the spring of 2021, and since then, we've implemented most of their recommendations, investing hundreds of millions of dollars to ensure quality, affordable child care is available for working families, and to support hardworking providers who make that possible. And that includes implementing Playground and Brightwill, two new shared services platforms that are helping you more conveniently manage your business, from tracking child attendance and meal counts to messaging parents and processing invoices. The state also allocated additional funding for grant programs that support the expansion or new construction of child care facilities. In the last 2 years, we've awarded approximately $75 million in grant funding to support nearly 200 child care projects, creating almost 11,000 new spots. We're expanding eligibility for child care assistance and increasing CCA rates for providers who serve low-income families. And to support growing the child care workforce, we're increasing recruitment and retention bonuses for your staff. Together, we've made a lot of progress, and we want to continue to partner with you to support families in our communities. And that's exactly what today is all about. The new Care4Kids initiative is aimed at educating child care providers about state resources that are available to help you grow and operate your businesses. Our goal is to help you be successful so that Iowa's working parents can be too. We appreciate your time today and your partnership in building a strong, high-quality child care system that meets the needs of our state. So have a great day, and a thank you for taking the time to attend today's Care4Kids panel. You play such an important role in the lives of children and parents across our state.
All right, we're going to start with our first panel. Moderating our panels today is Chance McElhaney. He is the Director of Communications and Government Affairs at the Iowa Insurance Division. In this first panel, Chance will cover what state resources are available to you and how you can access those resources. Welcome, Chance.
Good morning, all, and thank you for being here on this Saturday morning. We're really happy that you're here. As child care providers, you're aware of the many barriers within the industry. On this panel, we are striving to dive deep into what state resources are available and how you can access them. Joining me today is Iowa Insurance Commissioner Doug Oman, Child Care Program Manager for HHS, Wendy Hogeving, and the Iowa Women's Foundation, Sherry Penny. So thank you all for being here today. We want you all to explain, just what state resources are available to child care providers. So Doug, the Iowa Insurance Division does a lot with financial literacy. Can you kind of touch on that and how, retirement resources play into that as well?
Certainly. And again, thank you for joining us today. Thanks for being here, and it's great to be with you. We at the Insurance Division have been involved in financial literacy for some time. Obviously, we participate at the school level, are involved certainly with older Iowans. But this opportunity to be with you is really a great opportunity for us to share with you some of the information that is available where we as part of government can provide some help. So the first, if we can go to that first slide, one of the tools that is available, and it's available to every Iowan and certainly available to every employer in Iowa, is this Save for Later product. And it's available on our website. We've got the information up here. But actually, if you go to your app, that is the app for this program, you can go down to panel 1 and there's a place for resources, or you can go to saveforlater.iowa.gov and find this program. I'd encourage you to do it now just to pull it up, because you can pull it up on your app or pull it up on your phone and take a look at it. But when you look at this material, you can find it's really valuable, again, not just for you personally, but it's something that you can work with your employees in order to help them. Now, I'll be frank. It's when you talk about Save for Later, it's really designed to encourage people, Iowans, to look longer term, to look at what it is that you know, in the end, in terms of retirement, where they may want to be. There's a calculator on this particular program, but it actually provides a lot of other helpful steps in that process of building out a financial plan for life. And frankly, we kind of say it this way: it's never too late to start. And I really mean that. But the other side of that, it's also never too early to start. When you look at the data in America, people don't start planning soon enough. It's really easy to get credit here. And so because of that, people often don't spend the time to think through how that's going to play out over the course of life. You know, we'll have some experts here to talk to you about insurance and how insurance can play a role in financial security. But one of the tools that we have available, again, is this Save for Later program. We would encourage you to take a look at it, to understand it, and as I said, share it with your employees, because it's a great tool to kind of put a framework around how it is you can go about thinking about that word that we call budgeting, which I just call it planning for the future, or investing in your future. But that part of financial planning that involves setting aside funds, again, not just to make sure that you're protected in the event of an event, you know, that's unexpected, like a disability, but also, you know, really planning for the future in terms of other types of savings, whether it's savings for your family, for education, for individuals down the pathway of life. So that's what I would encourage you to do. We go to the next slide. The other program that we have available that, again, I would encourage you to take a look at, and this is an educational program that kind of borrows from the Save for Later approach, but it's really designed it's targeted for women who are in business. We have found, and the evidence shows, that if you look across our culture, women are often at the very center of the family. And so it's not just important for, you know, women who are interested in kind of helping take care of themselves, but because women are so critical in our society and within our culture, we have found that women impact not just their own children, they impact others in their community, and they certainly impact their parents. And so we believe, and it's been shown, that if we can reach better educated women in terms of financial wellness, it's not going to help just them, it's going to help everybody else in their lives who they touch. So again, strongly encourage you to take a look at this, share this information, again, please, with your employees, make it part of your onboarding. When you bring people into your business, I encourage you to share these sorts of resources to really to help equip them as well. But those are the main two areas that I wanted to touch on you. I'm not going to get up here and start trying to teach you on budget. There's a lot of better information, great information available in these resources for you to think about.
Thank you, Doug. And, you know, I think an important part of that is this is a free resource that that people can provide to their employees. And so please do take advantage.
Yeah, just on that point of being free, there's great information here about background. I always say that the best investor, certainly the best saver, is someone who actually knows enough to make their own decisions. If you get to the place where you're looking for advice, whether it's on the financial side, or again, we've got some excellent insurance experts that are going to be joining you today to provide advice. But it's really important that you understand, because you will find your decisions will be so much better if you have some comfort level. And this information's all free, so please take advantage of it. Educate yourself.
Okay. Wendy, I want to get you into the conversation here. We know that HHS has lots of resources. I mean, we could spend 3 hours easily just for you up here. We won't make you do that. But can you highlight a few that you really want the audience to know about?
Sure. So like you said, we've got a ton of resources, and so I don't want to bore you all, but if we can go to our first slide, I tried to categorize them in 3 areas for you. One area where we offer a lot of resources is professional development. We support the TEACH program throughout the state, so if you want scholarships to be able to attend higher education and increase your skills and knowledge around childcare, we also support the just regular in-service professional development. We fund CCR&R, we fund ISU, multiple places in which you can access training for free as well. Also from CCR&R, we fund consultation, and so if you have any questions or if there's anything that you want to know about your childcare business, they are a great place to start, and they have a lot of knowledge, and if they're not the exact person to help you, they'll get you where you need to go. So we also fund that as well. Business and leadership is another thing that we fund a lot of opportunities in. We have a contract with First Children's Finance for no-cost business training and coaching, so you can get that training for free on business and financial fundamentals, and then plus you can get coaching for free with it as well. We also have just recently implemented the digital fingerprints for free for everyone, and so that is a real support to help you get through the registration process easier if you're on the home side, or get your staff hired quicker if you're on the center side. And then I'll talk a little bit more about this later, but another thing that we have that's really new and exciting is the shared services project, in which we're implementing the new CCMS, or child care management systems, throughout the state that connect with our KT system when you do your billing. But I'll go into that a little bit more later. But as the governor mentioned in her speech, Playground and Brightwheel are the 2 that we have selected, and they do have booths out here. So if anybody's not using them yet and you just want to see a demo or anything like that, in our times between the panels, feel free to go find those booths, and then they can show you exactly what those systems can do and how they can make your life a lot easier on the business management side. And then the last kind of support that I don't know if this is the right category, but it's how my head categorizes it, is more of the systems level supports. So we have the recruitment and retention bonuses, which we in February increased to $2,000 from $1,000. The intent behind that is really to help with recruitment of getting people into the workforce, but as well as reward you for staying, so that retention bonus as well. We also support the wages program, so that offers salary supplements to individuals that have achieved a certain level of education and that continue to stay in the childcare field as well. And you can get both of those, so you can get the recruitment and retention and get the wages bonus or stipend as well. And then the last one, system-wide, that I want to mention is our IQ4K system. So that is our roadmap, really, to continuous quality improvement. And so that is a system that we have put in place for those that want to work on improving the level of because everybody has room for improvement, right? No matter how good you are, we all have room for improvement. And so the intent of that new design system is to just, wherever you're at, just take your next step, right? And along with that, we have increased the bonuses for when you achieve a rating. We've also implemented a new training reimbursement system for that, that our CCR&R is wonderfully managing for us. And they do have a QR code if you want to get one of those applications. But any training that is specifically mentioned in the IQ4K system that you have to take, like to get your rating, we will reimburse you for that, for your time spent in that training, because we know that's an upfront cost, right, for you all to get on the IQ4K system, and we want to support that upfront cost of helping you get to that rating. And then as well, once you get the rating, obviously, if you have any child care assistance children in your care, the reimbursement is higher for those that have a rating. And I will stop there because I feel like we could go on forever, but we'll get to some more details in some of the other questions.
Thank you for that, Wendy. Sherry, to get you involved in the conversation here, can you highlight some of the ways that Iowa Women's Foundation can help child care providers in their communities? I think the governor mentioned that child care is at the forefront of our economy. People need child care to be able to, just go to work. And the communities really do play a part in that. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So my mic is on. Okay. I don't have a light like the rest of them do, so I wasn't sure that this was actually going to work. So I think one of the biggest resources that the Women's Foundation can provide is my position and my role. So my position was created out of the governor's task force, and I'm partnered with the Iowa Economic Development Authority. My position is grant funded to really help communities and businesses understand how childcare is impacting their workforce, attraction, retention, all of the above. Because as we know, childcare is the roots and the foundation of a community. So without having childcare spaces available, without having any of these assistance programs to be able to support our childcare workers, we aren't going to be able to find the workforce to work in our industries, in our communities, and you won't need the houses because you won't have families moving or staying in your community because they're going to go where they have childcare. So really what my role is to kind of help offer technical assistance to communities. I come in and I offer presentations. I will talk about what is happening all across the state. We have some really wonderful examples of things happening all across the state, public-private partnerships, to help our childcare workforce earn competitive wages. And so I think that it's so important that I share that message and also connect you with the state resources that are available. It can be really overwhelming as a childcare provider. This is the last thing you have time for on your plates. And so really I can help connect you with the resources and come to us and say, this is where we're struggling in our center, and I can say, great, well, there's a community next door that has implemented this public-private partnership. Let's see if we can get that going in your community. So I'm able to offer those resources, contract examples when it comes to slot purchasing, presentations showing all of the data that comes from CCR&R for your specific communities, and really help your community leaders and government officials and city officials to understand how childcare is so important and what we can do to help offset that cost so that it isn't going to continue to keep falling to our parents. The good news is that I've been doing this work for a year now and traveling all across the state, and I can tell you that the business community and communities in general, your economic development professionals, your chambers, are 100% on board. And once I'm able to tell them what projects are happening maybe next door, they're very invested in getting a project going. So I think those are probably some of our most valuable resources that we have right now.
Thank you. You know, I heard Wendy and Sherry, both of you talk about CCR&R. I know they have a booth out here, so please do stop by in the breaks. But Wendy, maybe can you go a little bit more into that?
Sure. So CCR&R, or Child Care Resource and Referral, we keep referring to it by the acronym, I apologize. I live and breathe this every day. Their support for providers, families, and the community around child care. And so they're funded by multiple organizations, but HHS is one of the big funders of Child Care Resource and Referral. And so on the family side, CCR&R offers referrals to parents and helps them find child care in their community, as well as educating them on child care. On the community side, they work with community leaders, employers, businesses in their area to help improve the accessibility of child care in their areas. But on the provider side, they really are your go-to resource when you have any questions. So they offer a lot of professional development. They can support you with signing up for that professional development on our iPower system. They can help you with the registration or the licensing process. They can help you with what training is best for you. Like, you know, I don't know where to start. You know, call your CCR&R consultant and they will help you think through, because they have the big picture of all the trainings that are available throughout the state and what might be best for you. They also help with our IQ4K system, and so if you're interested in that, there's IQ4K specialists and your consultant. They'll together help you every step of the way through that process. And really, they are just that general support. Their background is really in child development, but if you need other resources like business resources or insurance resources, they can get you to the right place. So really they're your go-to person.
Thank you. So this might be best for Wendy and Commissioner Oman. Can you talk about some of the new statewide child care initiatives? And maybe, Doug, we could start with you because this is one of them. So go right ahead.
Well, first of all, to Sherry and Wendy, thank you for joining and participating in this educational event. This effort really came out of the task force findings. I mean, there was a recognition as to education and the support that was needed. And so Governor Reynolds, frankly, called those of us that have something, in fact, anything that might touch on business, whether it's economic development or regulation, brought us together to see how we, within our areas of responsibility, could help. Because we've done so much financial education across the state over many years, frankly, we had funding available, we were really in a position to pull something like this together. So our contribution is really, in a way, to sort of bring people together to help facilitate and really to have some emphasis on insurance and financial education. So I think that I'm very happy to be part of the first one. I mean, certainly there's been a lot of education, and these two women have been very involved in education over the months, if not years, but it's nice to be here at the table as well for us as the Iowa Insurance Division. So we're glad to help.
That's great. Wendy, are there some other initiatives?
Sure. Well, we really appreciate the other areas getting involved in childcare, and that has been, for us at HHS, a wonderful part of that child care task force, is so many different agencies have gotten involved in child care recently. A couple of the things that we've done at the state level recently, we've implemented an increase to initial family eligibility for the Child Care Assistance Program. So it used to be 145% of federal poverty level, and now it's 155. And we've also increased provider rates for the CCA program. And we continue to work with our legislature on that to make sure that we are trying to get you all a rate that makes sense for you fiscally. We also have a CCA pilot project that is sponsored by the governor and that we anticipate to be available on July 1st, but we will communicate more out to you through our lovely CCR&R channels that we use their email distribution list as we get more details about that. And then a couple other new upcoming things is we are currently in the process of contracting with an organization to offer free CPR and first aid throughout the state. So we're looking forward to implementing that one. And then we are also working on a contract to offer more support for professional development, support, training and coaching around challenging behavior.
Wonderful. It's always good when we get an applause on the first panel of the morning, so thank you. Sherry, you kind of mentioned, that communities want to get involved. They want workers to be able to go to work, and they want, childcare to be, a piece of that. So can you give, one or two examples of different communities and what they've done?
Sure. So if you could put up my second slide, that's going to have some of our solutions from across the state. I could talk about this topic all day because I'm so excited about all the wonderful partnerships that are starting to happen around the state. But for all of you here, I think it's best to just kind of focus on a couple. One of the first ones that I can talk about are partnering with school districts. So we know that we're in this childcare crisis primarily because it's a workforce wages issue. Lack of benefits and low wages are the hindrance to getting your childcare staff to come in the door, to keep them, retain them. So what I'm really starting to see is community efforts to help offset that cost for our childcare workers. This way, the control stays at the local level. Your city and government officials are willing to invest in keeping childcare open and available in their communities without having that cost fall to the parents. So one thing our school districts, especially in rural communities, are starting to step up because school districts are able to use their enterprise funds to employ childcare center directors or staff. Now you've got your workers that are eligible for the same benefits as teachers. You've got IPERS benefits, you have health insurance. You're able to then also share some of those partnerships with your paraeducators. Let's say you have a one-on-one aide at the school and their child is gone for the day. Now they could be pulled down to work in the child care center. So we're starting to see that. Ackley is a really great example of that happening. I believe it's Ackley. I want to make sure I'm giving credit where credit's due. No, I'm sorry, Andrew and Preston. So they've been doing this for almost, 3 years now, and it's worked so well that they've expanded. They have a dual superintendent, so they've expanded to a second community where he is the superintendent there as well, using these enterprise funds. So many wonderful benefits. The second one that I'll just touch on briefly are wage enhancement programs. So these are something that is really starting to take off. If any of you are familiar with Hamilton County, they have been doing a wage enhancement program for almost 4 years, I believe 4 years now, correct me if I'm wrong on the years. But they have actually increased their child care workforce wages by $2.85. It's working so well that they're actually have expanded now, and Johnson County has caught on and said, we would like to do this for our workers. What does that look like? In a nutshell, every community is different. I can't stress that enough. But what it looks like is your business community is investing, say, $100 per year per worker into this enhancement fund. And then your registered childcare providers are able to tap in, apply for this benefit. This is for in-home providers as well. And then you're able to offset some of those costs by a couple dollars an hour. That's working really well. I have 8 more communities that are starting to say we would love to look into a wage enhancement program. This also really ties into teach and wages because you are still able to utilize a lot of the state resources. The ultimate goal, as we continue these wage enhancement programs, and I know something that Hamilton County is exploring, is it's working so well. We have our worker wages up to a more competitive rate. So let's start to take some of these funds and see if we can use them to now pay down insurance benefits and premiums, because we know that that's expensive for you all. So I'm available to help you or have your board members reach out. I know you're all so busy. So take my card and have a board member reach out, and I would love to learn more about your community, what's going on, and then I can come and present and talk about all the ways that we can help you set up some sort of program to help keep childcare open and available and fully staffed in your communities.
I think that's a great point that, you want to have contact with these folks after this
Absolutely.
event. This is a 3-hour event, and if you leave here and don't contact any of these resources after this, then we've kind of failed. So I hope that you take advantage of all the resources available. And to that point, I think this is probably the last question for this panel, but Wendy and Doug, how can childcare providers best cooperate with your agencies? And Doug, I don't know if you can also talk about the commitment that we have for this moving forward. So.
Well, first of all, the opportunity to get together and to network and to understand what's going on and understand what is available is it really is the first step, because this is an ongoing process. As mentioned, we invited you to come here. We're good at bringing people together. Certainly, I'm guessing the credits that you were receiving helped in that. But the point has been well made that this is really designed to start those conversations, to help you better see what's available, but recognizing you're busy running a business and you have a lot of other things to get your attention. We're going to be doing this all across our state. We think that there is a great opportunity to, in combination with the other resources available, to really provide some assistance so that your business can flourish. We need you. We need you as a state. We certainly need you and value and recognize how important it is, the work that you're doing for kids in our state. So we're committed. If the question was about commitment from our side, we're committed to do what we can to provide that help.
And Wendy, what's the best way for people to, I know they're always in contact with you, but
Right.
how can they best cooperate with you to?
Yeah, so I think probably the best place to start is always going to be CCR&R. We put out our newsletter or any communication that we have through the CCR&R email constant contact list. They put out all our social media posts as well, and we're in constant contact with them. And so if you have a question, start with your consultant, and then if they can't answer it, they'll come to us and they can get you connected with us. And additionally, if it's a more like regulatory related question or a compliance question, go ahead and start with either your licensing consultant or your compliance worker. And if that doesn't answer your question, then we have supervisors of those individuals that we can go to answer the questions. And we're in constant contact with the licensing supervisor and the home compliance supervisor as well.
Well, I just want to thank you on behalf of everybody here for all the information that you provided today. It's been a great panel. Do we have any questions from the audience?
We do have a couple of questions from the audience. The first one, is the wage enhancement program only for Johnson and Hamilton County?
No, not at all, but it would be up to a community champion to get one started. So really have someone from your community or you yourself reach out. I'd love to have a virtual meeting with you and just kind of talk about what's going on in your community. And then I'm happy to come and present to your community to help get more people on board so that this isn't a project that you necessarily have to take on. But what this is each individual community sets their own wage enhancement program.
Thank you, Sherry. This is a question for the commissioner. Where does a small business owner start to save for retirement?
Is now. It's never too late. Small business is really is a challenge because you wear so many hats. You have so many different responsibilities. But again, what we have found is that even if you're starting small, it's the starting. It's the part of the process to begin to think about it in that way. Small businesses don't always have all of the options available, but again, that's where if you go through this Save for Later program and again, look through that information, it will give you some good suggestions on how to get started. At some point, it does help to bring someone in to provide some assistance. And again, you're going to have an opportunity to hear from insurance professionals that can help on, how it is if you have a workforce that you're not able to provide benefits, that is insurance benefits for your employees, you can help facilitate access under the Affordable Care Act to get to the individual market and the premium assistance that is available for people. So it really all comes back to just getting started on it, recognizing that it's never too late, but now is the time.
Thank you very much, Commissioner. I do have one more quick question for Wendy. What is one piece of advice you would give a new child care provider?
Ooh, that's a big one. Gosh, I feel like a broken record, but I would say to reach out to support for CCR&R to get yourself started, because although they don't have all the resources, there's other resources that are here, obviously, but they can get you connected and get you to the right spot and facilitate getting yourself up and off the ground.
Great. Thank you, Wendy. All right. That concludes our first panel. What a great discussion. Thank you very much, all of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.